Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. I know you clicked on this video because you're interested in learning why things aren't moving the way that they need to be moving, why things aren't progressing in your life the way that you would like them to. And we're going to go ahead and dive into that. But before we do that, I want to thank you again so much for being here on the channel. This is Adults Don't Exist, where we talk about life, growth, lessons that we have to learn along the way, because oftentimes as we become adults, we take forward the things that we learned from our parents or other people who may have raised us, and they did their best job, as far as raising us and getting us the information that helped them grow. However, that's not always the information that we need for us to grow, for us to really step into our power and do the things that we need to do. And this is a space where we do that. I'm going to do that here on this YouTube channel. If you like things more like a podcast style, just a little audio, something you can play in the morning whenever you're free, I do that as well. You can look me up at Adults Don't Exist on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram. Check me out. I would love to have these type of conversations with you. All right, so we ain't gonna waste no more time. I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into it. You want to know why things aren't progressing the way you would like them to progress. You've had dreams of accomplishing certain things, getting to certain places. It's like I have the goal in mind, but when does it start? Maybe life is getting in the way. You got so many responsibilities on your plate, things that are existing outside of these dreams that you have. It's like, this is reality, so how do I make reality and my dreams mesh? How do I bring the two together? How do I jump ship from this to that? It's not always easy. It's just not, right? And because we're so used to doing certain things, we're in this routine of, I get up, I go to this job, I make time to put in, do different things to accomplish my job when I go there. If I have to work outside of work just to get ready for the next day, you always put those things into that schedule. If you have a home life, if you got people that you're staying with, it's like, okay, how do I spend time with them? How do I make this good for me and them? How do I become a better mother, sister, brother, aunt, whatever? You're trying to figure out, how do you put your dreams into what's already existing? That's a hard thing to do. It really is. I found myself in this situation a lot. I'm not gonna say like too often, but I always notice that I have to adjust when this happens. And I guess it feels like a lot because it takes a lot of work, right? It's like, dang, how can I really put myself in this position? I feel like sometimes I overthink it. And that's why it feels like this happens to me a lot, or it takes over my life so much so then I get worried about whether or not I'm actually going to achieve my dreams. It's like, can I actually do this? Can I actually put these things to the side? And the thing is, you can. You absolutely can, but it's something that's so simple that we have to do. It's just that as humans, we struggle with it. We struggle with it, and you're going to be like, are you serious when I said the reason why things aren't progressing and you're not seeing anything happen is because your habits have not changed. It's like, okay, I've heard that before. You got to change your habits, but it's hard to change your habits, and that is why it's not happening. It's not happening. The answer is simple, but the solution is hard. The actual work to change your habits is not an easy one. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. So the best way that I've changed my habits is, one, by acknowledging the ones that aren't working. Why don't you have time to do these things? For me, the reason why I didn't have time to pursue my goals and actually put forth the effort that I needed to put forth is because I had too many distractions. So I had to acknowledge the distraction before I could ever move forward. It's like, okay, you've been doing this. When you say you don't have much free time, what are you doing? And me, I'm a deep thinker, right? So sometimes I think I don't realize how much my deep thinking, and I don't want you to confuse deep thinking with overthinking. I'm just a deep thinker. I like to dissect thoughts. I like to really peel things apart. Sometimes one little thing can happen or an interaction with somebody and I want to dissect it. That's just me, right? I get in my head about stuff. So it's like, boom, what are you thinking about? Where are your thoughts headed right now? Stop that. Stop that. Or it's like, okay, let's say if I'm spending my time, I want to wind down and come home. Maybe I'm smoking, I'm drinking on a little something. That's a distraction. Are you able to sit up here and tell yourself every time you reach for it, I'm going to reach for anything, these AirPods or whatever, I'm about to listen to some music. Do I really need to be listening to some music right now when I could be writing something? You know, so when you pick something up, to be able to sit it back down and be like, nope, that's a distraction. What are we going to do right now? How can I stop being distracted? You have to be your own voice sometimes. You have to be that voice that like slaps you on the wrist. You know how you went to touch that hot stove and somebody stopped you? Hopefully somebody stopped you, but sometimes we deserve to be popped so we can learn. But hopefully somebody stopped you before you actually touch that hot stove. It's like, nah, what are you doing? Sometimes you have to train yourself to be your own voice and your person who will stop you, right? So I feel like you need to start there, because habits don't change overnight, and you need to get that out of your head right now. That's another tip. Stop thinking that it's going to change right here and right now. This thing is going to take time. I've been hearing this for a long time, but I think they say it takes like 21 days, 30 days or something like that to really break a habit. That's not overnight, and you have to actively work at it. It's not just a thought. It's not something that's just sitting there. And that's another thing that I want to talk about, is actively working towards your goals. Now, somebody actually gave me, I'm gonna show you, because I just got it. This girl, I know, I love her, one of my really good friends. My birthday was this past Friday, and she gave me this little, it's like a little, it says inhale the future, exhale the past. I didn't really know what it was. I'm like, girl, is it a notebook? Because I love notebooks. I think that's probably like one of the best gifts that anybody could give me. I love the small things, but this particular book, it pretty much has you open it up. You start like a new day, and it asks you to set your intentions for the day. And then after the intentions, you know, it's like things you need to let go of, things you're grateful for, and then you reflect on the day later on. You know, you come back to it, but I wanted to highlight setting your intentions for the day. A lot of times we have goals and things that we want to change, and it's just this huge goal that is like, when I do this, I want to take the biggest bite out of the apple, and like, it better work. It better just work, like when I do this one thing or whatever. But it's like, no, your goals, just like you changing your habits, is a gradual thing. So take some stress off of yourself feeling like you got to be this overnight sensation, or you know, you have to be able to walk in and get the promotion the next time it's available. Like, no, how do you actively work at it? What do you need to do to take it to the next step? So if you're in the beginning stages of something, what are some goals that represent being in the beginning stages? Set the intentions for that. Even if it's just like you have an idea about something, it's like this loose idea, you really want to push it forward, you just don't know which way to go. Just say, today I am going to make it my intention to set or solidify something about this idea. You know, let's say if it's a book or something that you write, and maybe you could solidify the setting, you know, or let's say you do want to go up for promotion or something like that. Okay, you know, in order to get the promotion is the interview. Like, that's the last stage that you're going to have, is the interview and the conversation that you have to pitch yourself. But how do you set yourself up for success? Okay, so when I go into work tomorrow, I know that the job duties that I'm trying to, you know, end up doing in this promotion, it requires me to learn this. Okay, so learn that tomorrow. Set your intentions when you get up in the morning, so that way you know, I'm setting aside time for that. And even if you want to take it a little bit further, you schedule time for that specific thing. And why do you schedule time for that specific thing? Because you're no longer making room for the habits that you used to have. If you schedule your time with things that are productive towards your goals, you don't have time for none of that other stuff. It won't even matter. It won't matter. And sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice, especially if you're trying to accomplish something while you still got your, you know, your regular job and your family and stuff like that. Sometimes you're going to sacrifice rest. Sometimes you can't fit all of that into one thing, but you understand that, and you know that this is the goal that you're trying to achieve, but you're making the effort, you're setting the intention, you putting out there and showing God, like, I said that I wanted this and I prayed for this, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to go out here and get it. See? So what I'm telling you is, one, You need to acknowledge the things that need to change and the things that are preventing you from moving forward. Now, that's not always easy. Sometimes it takes time, but you have to be willing to take a step back and ask yourself these questions. What is it that's stopping me? Why don't I have the time? If I don't have the time, what is my time being spent on? Because it's not to say that you compare yourself to other people. You should never do that, right? But it is true that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, but how are these people using their 24 hours and how are you using yours? See? So acknowledge what needs to be changed and how you could start to change it and be your own voice for that. All right, I said I was going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and do this. So you need to focus on that. And then after that, you set that intention of like, okay, I said I wanted this. I'm ready to put this into my schedule. What am I going to do today? How am I going to take these small goals for myself today? Write it out. Say it to yourself. I usually like to write things out because that's how I remember. I said I was going to do this, so this is what I'm going to do. That's how I kind of keep it on the top of my mind. And then after you set the intention, how do you continuously work this into your schedule? You know, throughout the week, how do you say, okay, I'm going to spend 30 minutes doing this. I'm going to spend an hour doing this. Put it in your schedule. Our habits are our own worst enemies. And some of these habits we've developed, you know, as we were growing. But you know that saying, how they say when you get a new car, it's no longer taking diesel or it's no longer taking regular gas. You got to switch it up. You got to do things. You have to. The reason why we don't progress is because, one, we don't allow change to happen around us. We don't want it to. Or we don't allow change to happen within us. And when it comes down to habits, that change starts from within. It might seem like an external thing because it's something that you're doing. It's something that you're physically working at, but it starts on the inside. If you're going to do something, you're going to tell yourself first that you're going to do it. It's just like when you get up in the morning and you know that you need to take a shower or something. Over time, you develop that habit. So now it's like, I have to take a shower. It's the same exact thing. You're going to develop this thing over time, okay? You have to let it change within you. You set that intention of like, I'm dirty, I need to take a shower, okay? I'm not feeling fulfilled, so maybe I need to work towards my goals, and this is how I work towards my goals. You have to make that decision here and here first. It's something that happens internally, and then it's external. If you decide that you're going to go buy a new car, you didn't just wake up and go to the dealership. Inside of you, you said, I need a new car. Something in me that wants a new car. So you have to set that intention, but follow up with that intention. Talk to yourself about really what that looks like, and I guarantee you, you're going to start to see some progress. I can't tell you how many times I've done this to myself in life, but I keep falling into these distractions. This happens to me. You know, this is how the devil tried to put his hands on me or try to put his hands in my life and throw a monkey wrench in God's plans. But God is not going to throw me away. God's assignment for me is not going to change, but I have to be willing to change some things to get to where I need to go. Sometimes you have to just take a couple steps. You know, it's not that God does not want things to happen for you, but you have to show him that you're willing to do this leg work too in this relationship. He ain't just in this alone. You know, he gives us grace, he gives us forgiveness, but we have to make the effort. So make the effort. You know you want to do it, start within, let it come out. And I guarantee you, you're going to be good. All right? Now, I hope this video helped for you. I hope that you go ahead and acknowledge the things you need to acknowledge. You set the intentions and you build it into your schedule. And naturally, your habits will change. Document this. Like I said, it takes 21 days, 30 days or something like that to change a habit. You can look that up and correct me on that if possible. But whatever it is, document the changes that you've noticed. Even if it's just like, let's say you're trying to do this social media thing and maybe you do it for 3 weeks or something like that and you start to see some progression, document that. If you start to go to the workplace and you start to see the appreciation from your boss, noticing certain stuff, document that for yourself so you can see like, wow, this is a formula that actually works. And just see how it works. I ain't gonna talk your head off no more. I'm gonna let you go, but I hope we get a chance to do this again. All right.